Hello and welcome back to Fake Gamer Bro, and I am here with a very special guest, not my usual three, Eric from Short Game Long Talk. Hello.
Hello. I know I'm not one of the usual people, but maybe I will be now. I like mobile games. I listen to your podcast. I can be a usual person. I'm readily available. Happy to be
That'd be
here.
cool.
Yeah.
I need more people who like mobile games. For some reason, we're in short supply, or at least people who are willing to talk about mobile games.
hmm Yeah, I play mobile games. I mean, I definitely, one thing about me that I'm an extremely nerdy person. Have a lot of hobbies, but I also love sports. Uh, Football specifically, and Retro Bowl is one of the best sports games I've ever played in my entire life, and they just came out with a new one this year, which is a mobile game, and it's great. So I could always talk about mobile games. I keep tabs on mobile games because what else am I supposed to do at my desk at work?
Definitely not work. No.
No.
Yeah, that'll be great. I don't know anything about sports. So it will be a fun little bit of diversity instead of just me talking about merge games all the time.
Right. And Dragon Age.
And Dragon Age. Listen, unfortunately the Dragon Age mobile game no longer exists, so I can't have too many excuses to talk about it on this podcast.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, Heroes of Dragon Age. To me it felt too cluttered for a phone, so I was hoping they'd port it to PC, and instead they just stopped supporting it.
Well, you know what? There are a lot of mobile games of
Pokemon.
Yeah, look at that transition for you.
Yeah, today we're here to talk about Pokemon TCG Pocket, which came out the 20th, October 20th, right?
October 30th, the day before Halloween, because I was playing it while I was passing out candy.
Right, and I was like, I have 24 hours to enjoy this game before Dragon Age comes out.
Mm-hmm.
In which New Zealand got it a whole month early for some reason.
What?
Yeah, I saw people talking about it in the Into the Aether server where they were just talking about Pokemon Pocket TCG, or I got that backwards, whatever. And I was like, oh shit, it's out already. And I looked and it's not. So they just got it. New Zealand just got it a whole month early. So yay for them. I don't think that usually happens with games.
No, because I remember I changed my Xbox time to New Zealand to get Shadow of the Erdtree a day early, but a month is crazy.
Yeah.
But Pokemon's done that before, I think, because I think Pokemon Go came out a month earlier in some places. Because I think they know Pokemon is the most profitable brand on the planet, and everyone's going to play it. So I think they need to slow roll some stuff. So I guess that makes sense.
It does. I just had to stare and drool at all the other people already playing for basically a month. So what is your history with Pokemon? We'll try to keep it brief since it's not mobile games, unless you want to argue about emulators counting as mobile games.
I mean, they can be, but no, I won't. I'm not gonna do that. But my history with Pokemon is that I've been around Pokemon since its inception, basically. I was born in 1993. I am recently 31 years old, which means I'm right in that demographic of, I played Pokemon. My older cousins introduced me to Pokemon. I played Yellow. I still have my Pikachu Game Boy Color. I've played every generation. I love almost every Pokemon. There's not been a game where I'm pissed off about it. Yeah, I play everyone that comes out. I bought a Switch, or not a Switch, I bought a 3DS specifically to play the new Pokemon game when that came out. And for the longest time, it was the only game I had on 3DS. I have a bunch of pixel Lego starters right in front of me on my wall. I have Pokemon tattoos. I love Pokemon. But weirdly enough, I have never played the TCG. I collected the cards as everyone did at one point in time, but I stopped and never actually learned how to play, like a lot of other people, I'm sure.
Yeah, I remember trying to figure out how to play for approximately 2 seconds before I decided it was dumb and I just wanted to look at the pretty cards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a similar history with Pokemon. I started with Pokemon Red. I got it as a gift for Christmas,
Mm.
and I got Pokemon Yellow. I missed generations 4 and 5 because I just didn't have the money. That was, when my parents weren't buying me the games
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, yeah.
So I had to catch up on them later. But yeah, I've just been into Pokemon ever since. Every year my mom's like, "Aren't you getting too old for that now?" I'm like, "Absolutely not."
No, absolutely not. My mom bought me my last Pokemon game for my birthday. Yeah, the how so this is something I've never actually talked about, but like how cool is it going back to play an old generation of Pokemon that you've never played before? So like for you it was going back and playing 4, for me it was playing 4 and it was 4 and 5 actually. Yeah, I was late to the game.
Oh yeah.
And like I remember being like, wow, cuz like I kind of missed 2. I played it a little bit, but I was like very young. So like the first 2 games never really stuck with me cuz I was like a really dumb kid. But 3, Gen 3 is like my like warm happy place. That was where like everything started to make sense for me. And then I stopped. And then I came back and there was Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, and Black and White 2. And I was like, what did I miss? Like, whoa, what happened? And like that was such a cool experience. Did you have that similar, like going back, you're like, this is incredible to like play a new Pokemon game and just have another one waiting for you?
So I didn't go back and play it until much later, because by the time I got back into Pokemon, Gen 6 was out, and I love Gen 6. Fennekin is probably my favorite Pokemon, especially Shiny Fennekin.
Mm.
So going back was kind of like, oh, I miss all the features that I have now.
Hmm.
So that's kind of one of the issues there. But no, it is nice to have like just a brand new Pokemon experience and um, get wrecked by Cynthia for the first
Oh,
time.
yeah. We just did an episode on Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and
Yeah.
all of us that were on that episode got absolutely rocked by Cynthia. She's insane. Yeah. What a legend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for the remakes, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, she actually like had
Yeah.
competitive like stats for the
She
Pokemon,
had EV
which is
train.
just like
Yeah.
EV Train. There we go. Yeah, it's absolutely
No,
insane.
literally I had so I do some EV training sometimes. If the game makes it easy, I do it. I did it a ton for Sun and Moon because that generation was like ridiculously easy to do it. And then I did it a little bit in Sword and Shield, and then I was so burnt out. I played 3 Pokemon games in 1 year. So Scarlet and Violet was like a chore. So I bounced off of it after I finished it. But I knew when I hit her melodic with a super effective and it did like 30% of its health, I was like, that thing is EV trained for sure. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's some tough stuff. I haven't EV trained like at all. I didn't really start getting into thinking about Pokemon seriously, like more than just like, I mean, of course I'm gonna do all the damaging move. Who
Hmm.
does a status move
Me, I do.
until fairly recently. Yeah.
Me.
I've started getting into Poketubers who like they're they make me feel better about not being super into Pokemon while also like making me get more in like super into like the competitive side
Hmm.
of Pokemon while making it more approachable for me to start getting into the competitive stuff of EV training and all of that. So I'm starting to get into it more, but for the longest time, I just did not care about any of
Yeah,
that. I just kind of powered my
I
way
think
through.
everyone should get a base understanding of like competitive Pokemon. Just because watching Worlds when it happens is so cool. Like, and having a base understanding because it's not like a fighting game, right? Where it's like anybody can sit down and watch Evo and be like, "Yo, that was sick," because like the stuff they're doing is nuts. But watching somebody like predict exactly what somebody's going to do and just that is
Right.
so cool. But you don't understand that because it's just Pokemon switching in, doing a move, and then like the crowd freaks out and you're like, why is everyone freaking out? Like I have no idea what's happening.
Right. No, I've been watching a lot of Wolfie T
Yeah.
I almost said Wolfie TCG. That's not, you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Wolfie.
Wolfie
Yeah.
VGC. There we go. I've been watching a lot of Wolfie, and it's just like, yeah, I think Pokemon is like better chess,
Hmm.
right? Competitive Pokemon is just more fun chess.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it. It's not like the most exciting thing to watch, but when you know it's happening, it's crazy.
Yeah. So so you didn't get into the Pokemon game, trading card game. Did you get into like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh or anything like that?
I got into Yu Gi Oh! Around the same time I was playing Pokemon because there was a TV show that poorly taught you how to play,
Yeah.
but at least it was based on the card game. So, but in my more recent years, in the last like 10 years, I got massively into Magic the Gathering, so much so that I spent most of my unemployment during COVID opening packs on YouTube, which you can go find if you want. So I opened a lot of packs. It was very addictive. I somehow profited like $1,500, so I'll take it.
Oh,
But
damn.
don't do it because it's so risky. But yeah, I love Magic the Gathering. I fucking hate Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. I proxy all of my cards now. I do not give them any money because I will give money to local game shops, but I will not like give money to Magic the Gathering because that company is extremely corrupt, puts out too much product, and that's a whole other thing. But yes, I love Magic the Gathering. I actually have some decks like literally within less than an arm's reach away from me right now because I'm going to California to go like literally play Magic for like 6 hours with
Oh,
some
damn.
friends this Friday.
Nice.
Yeah. So I love Magic the Gathering. I love card games in general. And just like if deck building is in your game now, it's a pretty decent, there's a 50% chance I'll check it out.
So I was not into that sort of thing for the longest time. It seemed very intimidating for me. And then I got into Breach Wanderers, which I talked about on a very early episode of Fake Gamer Bro. And that was my introduction. And then Inscription,
Oh my
which I have
God.
a bonus episode for, got me hooked completely into roguelike deck builders.
Inscription is one of the best games I've ever played. It's so good.
It's It's so good. It's such a good game. So yeah, and then I also had a roommate who was really into Magic the Gathering. You know, she's a trans woman. Like if you have a group of 5 trans women, 6 of them are into Magic the Gathering. So
I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's an interesting little,
stereotype,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. Good to know.
Yeah, so I got into Magic the Gathering. We actually so we do kind of give money to she mostly does proxies and I mostly just get cards from her and I
Hmm.
also have done some proxies. But there was a not to get too off topic into Magic the Gathering, but there was a Magic the Gathering clue game that we bought and played last time she was up there.
I heard about that.
It was great. I think it'd be better with more people, but with just the 2 of us, I felt incredibly smart at, like, figuring out guesses and, you know, figuring out her guesses or what she had based on the guesses she was
Yeah.
making of me, and it was a really good time.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't like their business practices, but their products are good. Like,
Yes.
and like that's a unique product, right? You can only get that from them. So it's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna buy it. But yeah, proxying, everyone should proxy. It's so easy and it makes you so less stressed about using your decks because you can just be like, oh no, my card got ruined. Oh well, it cost me a nickel. Like
Yeah.
it's nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like this piece of cardboard should not be $100, but I will go sell it to somebody right now because I don't want it. I'll go proxy it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. She actually also bought some, Lord of the Rings cards and got the One Ring and sold that off, so
Absolutely. You can go buy like a bunch of other stuff with that. It's crazy.
yes, and I also started getting into so I haven't gotten into Magic the Gathering Arena, but as far as, like, mobile card games, besides Breach Wanderers, I did get into Marvel Snap. Did you play a lot of that?
Yes. I played so much Marvel Snap for the first 6 months it came out. And then it became so predatory
Yeah.
so quickly. Like it was like, oh, this is fine. Yeah, I pay for the season pass. I'll give you $10 every month. I'm not really playing many other games right now. And I was like, the podcast, like short game had just started, and we were just working through games I already owned, so I wasn't spending any money on that. And it was like all of a sudden it was like, yeah, you're gonna have to spend so much money to keep up with the meta. And I was like, whoa, where did this come from? And I just like, I'd never dropped a game so fast. Like it went from like playing 15 hours a week to playing zero, like in 1 week. It was crazy.
Yeah, it really sucks it got to that. I got distracted away from it before it reached there, so got to end with happy memories, which I guess is the best.
That's good.
Yeah. So that did make me pretty hopeful for Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'm just going to call it Pocket. That's going to be easier
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, well, we've seen how these fast games go. Because I don't usually like to do PvP. I don't like the stress of someone else
Mhm.
being there. It's like I don't like MMOs. I just don't like that sort of thing typically.
Right.
But these matches were so quick. There wasn't any chat that I would feel weird about. You could just like react with emojis and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
we don't even have that in TCG Pocket. Like,
yeah,
that's what's so nice. And they'll never add it.
they'll
Like,
never add it.
Nintendo is absolutely adverse to having any player interaction. Like, they're like,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Right. So yeah, so I was really excited about Pokemon Pocket as a way to sort of hopefully get into that and understand more about the game. How are you liking it so far? Are you playing a lot of PvP?
Yes. So I have the 45 wins already
Oh damn.
in the event that's going on, and I have since like I've gotten to the point I have 1,000 cards. I bought the promo, like, oh, our game is new, here's some cheap intro stuff. I did that after playing it for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and I've opened up a ton of cards. I have some viable decks. I did the 45. I got the 45 wins in the current event, and I have barely played since. I've just kind of checking when my packs are ready to open, which is fine. I think that's healthy. I prefer that, honestly. Once there's a ranked introduced, I might play it like all the time. But currently there's not a ton of drive, but I think it's healthy, because the reason, I bet people are wondering like why, the game's been out for almost a month and now you're just now talking about it. It's November 20th for those people wondering. But it's because we discussed this a little bit. We're like, oh, yeah, that'd be fun to talk about it. And we're like, well, there's nothing, literally nothing happening in the game right now. It's just opening packs. And then, like, 2 days after we had that conversation, they're like, here's the Lapras event, here's the PvP event. And we're like, oh, cool, there's stuff that's happening. So it seems like they're doling things out at a pretty decent pace. And I think it's been good. I checked my playtime, and I think I'm around like 35 hours in the short amount of time, which is quite a bit. But it's been good. I don't think it's been too. I was like addicted to Marvel Snap. I was like eating breakfast, playing Marvel Snap, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I got like 5 minutes. I'll play a match or something.
Yeah. So for Pokemon Pocket, there's like you get, I think you mentioned the two packs that you get to open a day. You get the currency, the special currency to open packs faster. They also have the what is it called? The Wonder card, the Wonder Pack or whatever, where
Yeah,
you can just
it's like it's a, what are those called? Hourglasses. That's what they are.
yeah.
That you can use to like pick what, like, refuel your wonder pick things. Like, there's so many.
There's so many different
There's so
currencies
many.
in this.
Yeah, luckily they are all purchasable with the, like, what is the, it's an LGBTQ flag color
Oh
of the
yeah.
things you get from people liking things.
Yeah, I have no idea what any of the currencies are called.
Yeah, I don't either, except for the hourglasses, and that's it.
Yeah, well, because they are shaped like an hourglass, so it's easy.
Hmm.
But there's like 5 or 6 different currencies. But you do get the
Hmm.
Wonder Picks that, so it shows you packs that other people have opened, and if you see a card in there you like, you can try to Wonder Pick it, and you could just choose like one card randomly, and you might get the card you want, or you might get a, a different card of the pack of 5. But it's like it costs up to 3 of the little time slots, I
It
guess.
actually costs up to 4.
Up to 4? I haven't seen a 4. What's the
Yeah. So if there's two rares in one pack, it costs 4.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that one yet, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's by rarity.
I'm curious what a god pack would cost to wonder pick from, because god packs are all rares, so all 5 would be a rare, and I'm like, would that be like 6 wonder picks? That would be crazy.
That would be just like your whole amount of time slots you'd have to use
Right.
for it. Yeah, and I think that's a neat thing. And then, after you do Wonder Pick and after you do a PvP, you can like thank people and you can go to people's, you can show like have a showcase of cards you like and people can like that, and then you get the little one of the in-game currencies that can let you buy more hourglasses and stuff like that. Really, there's just so much in-game currency.
There's
it's
so
it's it's
many
a little
currencies.
a little confusing, but there's no trading as of yet. So there's open cards yourself, Wonder Picks, PvP, and then there's solo battles, which I think there's a finite amount of those that you can do. I haven't finished going through them, but there is currently a solo event that you can get special cards uh, playing that. They also had like a Wonder Pick event where you can get special Wonder Picks.
Yeah, I think the Lapras one will be done by the time I think the only event going on now is the PvP event.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they'll have, by the time this episode comes out, I'm sure they'll have another event going on.
Yeah, it does seem pretty consistent. There was nothing for a while, and then suddenly there were like 3 events overlapping back to back.
I looked it up. There's 11 currencies in this game.
11, that's so many currencies.
Yeah, and one of them we don't even know what it's for yet, because everyone got it when it started, the advanced ticket, and it says like, this ticket cannot be used yet. Wait and see what it's for. And it's like, what do you mean?
Oh, wild.
But yeah, there's Poke Gold, there's shop tickets, which is the pink and blue thing that you get from liking stuff. The special shop ticket, which is I think
Okay.
the black and gold one, yeah,
Yeah.
that you have to spend premium stuff for. There's the premium tickets, the emblem tickets, which are the purple ones, event shop, which are basically whatever event is going on. So like recently we had the Meowth event, and you get those event ones for
Mhm.
the advanced ticket. Like I mentioned, no one knows what that's for. The pack hourglasses, the pack points, which are the pack points are used to exchange for cards. You can pick them. And then the wonder hourglasses, which is for recharging your wonder stuff. And then the shine dust,
Oh, the shine dust, yeah.
which is used for making your cards pretty and stuff. But I wouldn't recommend using those because people are theorizing you're going to need shine dust to trade.
Oh, that makes sense. I haven't been hoarding that. I've been making my cards prettier as I go through.
Heck yeah, do it.
I do like that. So how you make your cards prettier is if you have an excess amount of cards, you can like merge them together to get what's called flair. That just adds like little shiny stuff to your cards. It's kind of like themed by cards. So some of them might have like hearts, and some of them might have like dark clouds and stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
The first one that you get is just like glittery, but I like it that they won't let you merge down to below 2. So because
Mm-hmm.
most packs like you to have 2 cards, most not packs, decks,
Yeah.
because you can build 2 specific like theme decks, and they want you to have like 2 cards of a lot of different cards. So you're not allowed to merge down below 2. It just stops you. And I think that's very good for people like me who might be just clicking and not reading as much.
Yeah. I think it'd be good if we talked about like the difference too between regular TCG and TCG Pocket, because there's a pretty vast difference from my understanding. Do you know all the differences?
I don't know all of them. I know energy works differently,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the majority of the one I know. Do you know more?
Yeah, I know a bit more because I looked into it and I bought. I was gonna buy a starter deck because I recently bought Pokemon cards for my nephew for the first time, and he wanted to learn how to play. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I mean, TCG Pocket's coming out soon, so hopefully I can teach myself that way, and then show up and obviously destroy my 6-year-old nephew
Yeah.
in a card game. But I then I bought some packs and I saw that a Charizard. I pulled a Charizard EX, funnily enough, and his health was 330. I was like, "There's something very different about this,"
Oh, man,
because
yeah.
I think the most health in game right now is 200, and I think that's like Snorlax or something. But basically, one thing is you can have, I think it's 40 to 60 cards in your deck, and in this game we only have 20, and you can have up to 4 copies of any card in regular games. And then the way the point system works is simplified as well, because you have what's called prize Pokemon, and you have like 6 of those on the side, and that's kind of your health.
Oh.
And when you knock out a Pokemon from your opponent's side, you get to draw one of your prize Pokemon. And when you've drawn all of them, I think you win, if I'm understanding that correctly. But it is pretty different. So they did all of the. I thought these cards in TCG Pocket were real cards, and apparently they're just reused art. All of the cards are brand new because the mechanics only work in TCG Pocket. And I was like, that's pretty cool, actually. Like they didn't just port it and change some numbers. They like fully were like, nope, this is how these decks work now. Like these are how the cards work. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. I like the realm of a digital card game that's only digital, because it allows you to do things that are kind of silly. Whereas like if you're working on Magic Arena and you're not playing the alchemy world, which is like those are digital only cards. It allows you to just like if you're playing just regular Magic Arena, you're limited by like what can actually happen in real life. Whereas in this, it's like yeah, flip 50 coins. Who cares? Because the computer's going to do it for you in a second, right? It's really quick. So I think that's really fun.
Yeah, it just sucks whenever the computer flips like 50 heads in a row.
Oh yeah, Misty can be a problem for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that's crazy. I knew there were some differences with like the pack size and how energy worked. I didn't know it was that different. I thought that they were more one-to-one cards, but that makes sense because they really wanted this to be more contained like the
Hmm.
Marvel Snap, like just 5-minute PvP.
Yeah.
So it's really because so obviously you have timed you have like what, a minute in order to do your move?
Yeah, something like that. Minute and a half. It's pretty short, but I think it should be shorter.
It should be because I keep hearing about people getting up against others who are salty that the turn didn't go their way, and so they just
Hmm.
wait out the full minute and a half before forfeiting,
Right.
which I think is kind of funny, but also extremely annoying to be on the other end of.
No, it is super annoying. What's really funny is that did not happen to me until my 45th win in the event. Like literally the last person I played against to get my last win did that to me, and I was like, that's crazy it took me this long to run into this cuz yeah, when I used to play Arena, it happened all the time. And then same with Marvel Snap, like it would happen all the time when you get the upper hand. And it's like, bro, like it's just a game. Please move on. Like just concede. You lost. If you want to give up, don't waste mine and your time. Just move on. Like it's crazy.
That's
Like
crazy they didn't do that they waited it out in Marvel Snap because Marvel Snap had like a benefit to conceding rather than losing, right?
I know people are weird. I don't miss people spamming like emotes and stuff like
Yeah.
Thanos and things like that. I don't miss that at all. I do miss the game a little bit, but TCG Pocket I think will fill that void, especially once they add ranked.
Yeah, also when they add trading, I mean, I know that's not the same as PvP, but I think trading is going to
Oh
really
my god.
blow up once they add that. I think it's good they didn't start off with that because it's letting them get used to seeing how everyone is playing as it is now and kind of build that up more because I imagine that that's going to be maybe more complicated to build
Mhm.
up. But I'm excited for trading to be in because there are plenty of people who just do not mess with the battles at all, either solo or PvP, and just use it to open their 2 packs a day.
That's
And
my wife. That's my
yeah.
wife 100%. So what I do is she just opens packs when it's time, usually right before bed, and she pulls the most bonkers thing ever. I literally was like next to her in bed as she pulled two Moltres in a row, Moltres EX that I need that I haven't pulled. And I was like, are you
Yeah.
serious right now? But yeah, what I do is I signed into her account on our iPad. So
Mhm.
like during my lunch break, I'll just like do the solo battles and stuff for her to get her her achievements and
Nice.
whatnot. I was like, you need to pull better cards because these decks are terrible. But yeah, she has no interest in doing the battles. And what's nice is you can completely that's completely fine. I do recommend everyone go through the tutorial battle stuff and all that and do as much as you can until you're like kind of thing with the battles because you get a lot of free stuff doing that and you'll
Mhm.
open a ton of packs and that's why we're here really. Like we want that dopamine rush.
Yeah, opening packs is pretty great. Have you gotten any of the immersive cards yet?
I got one.
Yeah.
I got one. And obviously I've opened like tons of packs and I've spent gold and I did all this stuff and I opened one and then later that day my wife who's completely free to play opened the same fucking card and I was like, are you serious, dude? Like this is crazy. But yeah, I've opened the Charizard one. Have you?
Yeah, I recently got the Mewtwo.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't realize I had sound. I usually mute my games entirely, and I thought I
Same.
muted this one. Like I'll start it and I'll just listen to the music and I'll hear all the sounds they want me to hear. But for some reason, Pokemon games are way louder than any other game, or maybe just Nintendo. Like I had that problem with Fire
Maybe.
Emblem Heroes, with Pokemon Go, with Pokemon Sleep. They're just so loud, even on the lowest setting. So I mute them
Pokemon
pretty
Sleep is
quickly.
very loud.
It is. It's so much. I turned on the sound for the Halloween event just to hear that Lavender Town
Hmm.
music, but it's way too loud, especially for a game that's for sleeping.
It's supposed to chill you out. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
super loud.
it's so loud. But yeah, and so I thought I had the sound off for Pocket, and then I just got blasted with sound from the immersive card. I'm like, holy shit, what's happening?
Yeah, it's cool though.
It
That's
is
such a cool
cool.
idea.
Yeah, I really like it. That was definitely something that hooked me whenever they first announced it was the immersive cards. Because cool art.
Honestly, the thing for me was the fact that you get a free pack every day, and I was like, "What?" I was like, What TCG game gives you a free pack every day?" Like,
That's true.
I'm, I've never like I played Arena, and you'd have to do all your dailies just to afford like one pack using gold, and I'm like, that could take like an hour. And like, that might be nice for some people who are going to play this game religiously, but like on days like today, I was in like back-to-back meetings at work all day, and then I got a notification. I was like, "Oh, you can open a pack." I was like, "Oh, sick." I didn't have to do anything for that. I just got it.
Yeah. What's really great is when you save up enough of the currency, the hourglasses to open packs. For 10, you can open 10 at once,
Hmm.
and that is just the best feeling. I always save up until I can open 10.
Yeah, it is super cool. Have you when you're opening your packs, are you opening from one pack specifically, or are you kind of like bouncing around between the three different packs?
Yeah, so there are three different kind of themes. There's the Mewtwo one that primarily has like psychics and stuff. There's the Charizard that's primarily fire, and the electric that's primarily, electric, or the Pikachu that's primarily electric. I think that one also has water.
Hmm. They all have like a secondary. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a list that you can look at of seeing what cards are in there. So it kind of depends. I started off with Charizard a lot because I love Charizard, and then I got Charizard X, and I'm like, okay, well I have the theme deck for that. I'm gonna move on and focus on some other ones. So I focused on the Mewtwo packs a lot until I got Mewtwo,
Mhm.
and then I've just been kind of bouncing between focusing more on the Pikachu deck, because I already got Pikachu X as well, is the thing. So I didn't focus as much on that one. But
Mhm.
now I'm trying to fill the different deck missions. Since I've unlocked
Oh,
so
nice.
many theme decks, they will show you the cards you need to finish that deck. So I did just go ahead and buy one with the currency to just straight up buy cards. Since I was just
Yes.
one away from finishing that deck, and it was a Gengar, which I was kind of annoyed because I did have a Gengar, but it wasn't the right Gengar, I guess.
Yeah, Gengar EX or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've just been kind of bouncing between. There are like online sites that you can like manually put in all your cards, and it will like show you what you need for decks and stuff. And I did that once, and then I'm like, I'm just getting too many cards too fast, and then changing them out with to get the flair, that I'm not keeping up with this. Maybe one day I'll
No,
do
it's
it, but I'm not. It's going too fast for me to keep up with a website for this. I'm not that dedicated to it.
right. Right. It is pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm very curious about like the future of this game, right? Because it's been less than a month,
Hmm.
and I think there's some issues with it, but I think there's some of the issues. I think you wanted to talk about some of the like the issues with like going first and things like that, right?
Yes, yeah. Because that's got to they've got to fix this at some point, because going first is, there's basically no point in it unless you like really, unless you get, what is it, the evolutions that you can evolve. But sometimes
Hmm.
evolving your Pokemon early isn't great if they need two energy instead of just one, or sometimes even three right off the bat, because going second gets you an energy and gets you that first attack before, for the player one. I've seen someone
Right.
say that they should have the coin flip decide where you choose if you want to go first or second. But
Yeah.
I think that would be, but everyone's just going to choose second, because right now going second is just, there's no benefit to going first.
Yeah, it is strange. I've never played a game where going second is more beneficial,
Right.
but I think I know why they have it like this, and it's because of power creep. I
Mm.
think eventually there's going to be like Pokemon that have abilities that are like one stagers that like can do stuff on turn one. There might eventually be more Misty type cards for other types, and like there's going to be there might be, because I think in regular TCG there's Pokemon that can attack for free.
Oh.
So like you can do that on turn one. So I think eventually going first will have a lot of benefits because it'll allow you to set up things. Because as this game gets more complicated, There'll be longer games with more setups and things like that. Like right now in my head, I think there's only one type of deck that actually kind of like plays the game, like where you actually like are moving pieces around, playing things strategically, doing things like that, and that's the Wheezing deck,
Yes. Yeah.
which I think that's the only one that's like complex at all, where it's like you have to play it right, you have to pilot it right, or you will lose because it is not powerful, but it is tricky and it can mess with people because you're moving pieces around a lot. Whereas like a lot of the other times it's like because I played Pikachu EX through the whole like PvP event, and it's
Mm.
like yeah, play Pikachu in the bench. I'm gonna play a Voltorb because I'll evolve him into an Electrode, and he's got a free retreat cost. I'm gonna make the whole bench, stack the whole bench. Okay, got my Pikachu at two things. Flip them in. All right, attack twice. Game over. Got it. Right. There's nothing. There was
Yeah.
nothing that the other person did. Whereas like in the other games, it's like with Wheezing, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put Wheezing in. I'm not gonna attack right now because but I can poison him and do all that stuff. Like there's a lot of different maneuvers, and I think eventually the game will get there because I think the next set releases in like a month and a half. So I think we'll get there, but right now it is rough going first. It's very strange, but I do think power creep is the reason why, and I think it's fine, right? I think the cards are not that powerful. Nothing feels that broken to where it's like in Marvel Snap there's decks that like no matter what you did, like like oh it's over in turn 2 3 whatever, okay game's done. But in this it's like the decks that win on like turn 2 they have to flip perfect coins, right? Like it's completely up to chance. It's like they either do that or they lose and it's over. It's like that's fine. I can move on with my life like really quickly. So I do think it'll be strange and interesting to see what they do moving forward.
Yeah, it's true. So I unlocked the Koga rental deck because that's one of the cool things for solo battles is you can just get like rental decks depending on what cards you pull. And that whole wheezing situation did make me feel like the smartest person,
Mm-hmm.
even though I was just going up against, the AI. It still felt so cool to do. So if I can get more of that, that would be great.
Yeah.
I really need to build out that Pikachu deck because it really is like if you get the 4 in there. But what's so another thing I'm having with the PvP is that since there are the type advantages, it's kind of a mind game to figure out like, okay, the Lapras event was going on, so a lot of people have Lapras. So now people are building up electric decks to take care of the Lapras. And for a
Mm-hmm.
while, like Mewtwo was really big. So a lot of people were building up the is it called the is it the dark type? I forget because that's
Yeah,
one
it's
of the
dark
things is
type.
the matchups are different because there's a lot it's limited how many types there are in
Mm-hmm.
TCG versus actual Pokemon. So
Yeah, it's way less. Like Nidoking and all the like all of the poison types are now dark type, and then like ground types are fighting types. But then they also like you know some of the typings, even if it's a fighting type, they're like weak to like grass or what. Like it's
yeah,
all very very weird. But yeah, I think the Pikachu the issue is like the Pikachu deck is so strong
yeah,
because of the meta. Because like it does really well against Mewtwo because Mewtwo is slow. The Articuno Starmie decks are water, so obviously it does really well against that. And then there's like one other really strong deck that is like weak to Pikachu. So like that's just why. Like I think if those decks, like say the Articuno deck for whatever was not weak to Electric, I don't think Pikachu would be as strong, but that's like the reason it's so strong. And like it doesn't even matter. Voltorb is probably the best support, but you can put anything in there as the other Pokemon because you're just trying to fill the bench with Pokemon and then just hit for like 110 damage on turn 2.
yeah. It's pretty crazy how that works. Which oh my god. So I must have just like missed reading this, but for so long I didn't realize that knocking out someone's EX card
Hmm.
got you 2 points. And I was so confused why I was getting 2 points and why other people were getting 2 points against me. It took me so long to figure it out.
Yeah, it says it at the bottom of the EX cards too.
Yeah, well, that requires reading, which apparently I did not do.
I'm noticing that a lot about people is like they don't read things in game. My wife is like an avid book reader and she like refuses to read things in video games. I'm
I
like, what do you mean?
I usually do, and I like read the move descriptions and stuff. I guess I just missed it at the bottom. I guess I just didn't even think about that being a mechanic, and I didn't notice the pattern for a while.
It's a really good mechanic.
Yeah.
It is so it makes it so much riskier to use an EX to like try to catch up because like if you're losing, like if they even have one point, you can and you get your EX knocked out, you're done.
Yep.
I think it's so cool.
Yeah, it is interesting, and I will definitely play better with that in mind. Yeah, so the microtransactions, because that's another point I want to talk on because I feel like that's what haunts mobile games is how many microtransactions there are, and it puts people off a lot of mobile games. And currently, I don't feel there's too much pressure to buy Pokemon Gold or anything, or to buy the subscription. Though they do start you off with you can get, what is it, 2 weeks free for
hmm
the subscription. So they do start you off with that, which maybe is just to get you addicted and used to having it, and then you're like, well, I guess I gotta keep spending money so I can keep that subscription.
Yeah. Yeah, I did the free trial and then I let it renew.
Mm,
So I'll let you know like in a month if I think it was worth it for like another month. Because it was $10. I was like, oh, I'll do it. Like I'm curious what the next reset is for the premium stuff because this month um it was all Mewtwo stuff.
hmm.
But what is cool is it does give you like other goals to work towards, which is always nice. I like a good checklist. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see if it's worth $10 because $10 a month for a game that I'm gonna like primarily play because I don't have very many other things on my phone that I'm playing. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. It's not that bad. It's an extra pack too. It's an extra pack a day, which that adds up. 3 packs a day is a lot in 1 week. That's 21 packs now. All of a sudden from 14. That's pretty big. But we'll see if it's worth it. But I don't. I'm not sold on it yet. But I was like, I'll do one more month to see when things reset because it's so early. It's so early, and it's Nintendo, which means like it's going to be super cryptic. What's going to come? Like no, there's going
Yeah.
to be like no communication, and sometimes things are going to be great, and sometimes it's going to be terrible. Like that's just what we get from Nintendo, and we're all going to take it.
Yeah, honestly, my goal is to get this podcast to the point that I can write off stuff like buying the subscriptions and microtransactions as business expenses. That would be
It's a
nice.
good goal.
Yeah, just write off. Well, actually, I was going to say write off Google Play, but my friend just added me to their family for Google Play, so I don't have to pay for that anymore either. So that's nice.
I mean, the other goal could just be, get a Patreon or something, and then like get a couple very generous donors, and then you're good. That might be that. I feel like that is more feasible than getting to a point where we can write things off for
Yeah,
taxes.
that's fair. I do have some supporters over on Kofi. They are
Oh,
mostly
nice.
interested in my Homestuck podcast. Listen, I thought that Homestuck would be my niche little podcast, and Fake Gamer Bro would get more people in. No, people care way more about Homestuck than mobile games, I guess. Or like,
I fully missed the boat on Homestuck, but you know, good for you. I'm happy for you.
yeah,
I have no idea what it's about. I think I've read the Wikipedia for Homestuck
that
like
does nothing for you.
twice.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, twice, just to understand like what it is. And I'm like, okay, I think I got that. But then it just like in one ear, out the other, and it's just gone. And I'm like, now after we're talking tonight, I'm gonna be like, what is Homestuck? Like, what is it
Listen, listen,
again?
after we end the episode, you better get off quick if you don't want me to talk about it. I
I do
actually,
have things to do, Jackie, so I will have to get off.
yeah, I actually started writing an interactive fiction of So You Want to Get Into Homestuck. I should probably get back to that because I think that'd be fun.
That's hilarious.
Listen, I see a problem. I want to make an interactive fiction game or a podcast about it.
That's fine. I have tons of podcast ideas. So if you ever think of one,
Oh,
just throw it at me and I'll be like, interested, not interested.
yeah, yeah. I have so many. I almost made a Dragon Age podcast.
I mean, that feels fair. You could
Yeah,
just do that every time a game comes out and then end it when you feel like it, and then a new one comes out and then you start making content again.
absolutely. Especially since Transistor, you get as many podcasts as you want. You don't have to pay per
Oh, that's
podcast like
nice.
Buzzsprout. So yeah, so microtransactions seem to be good. Any final thoughts? I think we hit most of our bases.
Yeah, I think we hit everything. Like I think this game has a pretty bright future, but I do know I think how do you pronounce it's is it DNA? Like is that how you pronounce the company that like actually makes this game, or is it Dina? It's DENA. But I forget what. Let me look up real quick what they make. Cuz they have another game, another Pokemon game.
I know people are getting scared about Pokemon Sleep because the company that made Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is taking over Pokemon Sleep more, and I don't know, they're such different games. I don't think that you can like say issues that people had with the remakes are going to be any similar issues with Pokemon Sleep, but we'll see.
Yeah, what could you mess up in Pokemon? Like Pokemon Sleep is the least aggressive.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
have zero desire to spend real money in that game. Like
Yeah.
I do it every night. I did buy the Pokemon Sleep Tracker, but that's just because I kept knocking my phone off my bed at 4 a.m. Like
Yeah.
that's the only reason.
I'm so happy that they let you use Fitbits now, other smartwatches
Hmm.
to
I
track.
tried it once and it didn't work on my phone on my
Oh.
watch, and I just hate sleeping with a watch too. So
Oh, fair
my
enough.
birthday was recently, so my sister got me the thing.
Nice.
So yeah, but let me see. So they've done Pokemon Masters EX. That's what they
Oh.
did, and apparently people aren't super happy with the way they do things. But my thought is that Big Daddy Nintendo is like, this game is too good and people are playing it too much, that like if things start to go south and people start to leave, they will like pivot hard, because there are two things that Pokemon is known for, like, and I think this is I feel like Pokemon the card game, like collectible cards, is more known than some of the other aspects of Pokemon, because
Yeah.
it's like this is like their bread and butter. This is, this is the time at recess when you're talking about cards and games and all that. And like I feel like they're really protective of how the Pokemon like card game is seen. So I'm hopeful that they don't let it get to a point where it's like you have to spend $50 a month or you're not gonna, like that's what it felt like in Marvel Snap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any other well, I haven't played Masters, but I just don't think that they have that huge of a problem. I mean, microtransactions are always there, and I think
Hmm.
people are going to wail on it just to open more packs, but people wail on Pokemon cards IRL too. So I don't think
Yeah.
that's something that can be that affected by Pokemon Pocket.
Yeah, I think I read a thing this morning that was like 1% of a mobile, like on average, 1% of a mobile game's like audience accounts for 53% of the microtransactions. And
Yeah,
I'm like, good for you guys. Like, you guys make it way more affordable for me, because I like giving money to games that I like, and I don't like to spend a ton of money all the time, but I will when I like the game. So they make it cheaper. That's the big thing. So,
absolutely.
and when do you think this episode will come out?
Probably next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday? Okay. So that's right before Thanksgiving, and apparently there's data mine that there's going to be gold Black Friday sales. So if you're
Oh,
looking to spend microtransactions, that might be the time. I
yeah.
probably will. But yeah, I think that's what I've heard, just for people out there that are listening to this on the day it comes out. If it's Black Friday, go check Pokemon TCG and see if you can get a good deal on gold.
Or Cyber Monday if they do that.
That's true. Might be a
Yeah,
week long thing.
could be.
Nintendo loves their week long events.
True enough. We're in the middle of a Pokemon Sleep Eevee event right now.
Yeah. Me and my friend were just talking about that, like complete side note. I guess it's not really a side note. We mentioned Pokemon Sleep,
Yeah.
but we're bummed that it's only a 1 week thing. We're like, it should have been 2 weeks, where the first week was like more EVs and evolutions show up, and then the second week you get like a bonus for having a full team of evolutions.
That would be cool.
Right? Because I want to do that. There's no
Yeah.
reason to right now, but I want to do that, and it'd be really cool. Like, what if they're like, yeah, you get like 1.5 times the berries and ingredients and all that stuff for like a full evolution team? That'd be fun.
That would be cool. Maybe next year, because I think they did this event last year too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll wait a whole year and report back.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, where can people find you online?
If you want to listen to my voice more, you can go check out Short Game Long Talk on any podcast player of choice. We're on basically everything, and if we're not, let me know. We play short games that kind of fit into a hectic schedule, and then talk about them for like 2.5 hours typically. By the time this comes out, we'll be pretty close to our Game of the Year discussion coming out. Our most recent game was Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. So, if you're a fan of Pokemon, go check that out. That's a good one to start with. If you want to follow me on socials, you can just look up Mr. the Human. So like MR the Human on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, all pop up. You'll see my bearded face with sunglasses. I think it's the same image everywhere. And then Short Long Pod is on Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram if you want to follow the show over there. But yeah, I really appreciate being on the show. This was a lot of fun. I love talking Pokemon and card games and mobile games too. So I'll probably be back whenever there's a mobile game that's been scratching an itch.
Okay, yeah, sounds great. And I'll put links to everything in the description. So clickety click. And yeah, we'll see you for, I don't know, whatever the next one's going to be. I haven't decided yet. I do this one ahead of time. I don't know what the next one's going to be, but we shall see. And I will see you next month. Bye-bye. Thank you to Dami for composing the theme song and editing the episode. You can find more of her work at soundcloud.com/dominothief. Shout out to our fakest fan tier supporters, Danny the Spoonlord and Tezrak. You can become a supporter and receive early episodes and bonus content for as little as $1 a month over at ko-fi.com/jaxyaks, or simply give a one-time tip. For information on and links to my other projects, head over to jaxyaks.com. Thanks again for listening.